I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm really enjoying the Q&A series. The reason is because I get to answer specific questions from people concerning or regarding their business. So I'm continuing my Q&A series. And like I said, the purpose is to answer a couple of questions from my listeners. The question I'm answering today is, I am a 9-to-5er learning about the business world and getting my feet wet. I know I can Google this question, but I don't want a textbook answer, but an answer from a real-life business person. My question is, what is the difference between a service business and an online business? Ooh, that is so good. Stay tuned as I answer this question in today's episode. I have a review from Heather B. on Apple Podcast. Heather titled her review, "So Good." Heather writes, "If you are considering a service-based business, tune in for great advice and lessons learned to set you up for success." Thank you so much, Heather, for your encouraging review. If you have gotten any advice from this podcast, or if you have learned lessons from this podcast, please leave me a 5-star review on Apple Podcast so that this podcast can reach more people. Scroll to the bottom of my podcast page where you're listening to this episode. You will see the ratings and reviews section. Locate and click on the Write a Review purple link. Enter a title for your review. Click on the 5-star icon, type in your written review, and click submit, and you are done. Thank you so much in advance for leaving me your review. Let us dig into today's episode. Hey sis, welcome to the Start That Business podcast, where you will find practical solutions that empower you to start your service-based business. I'm your host, Chichi Ukomadu, an entrepreneur, wife, mom of 3, and a Jesus follower. 10 years ago, I was afraid of giving up my desire to build a corporate career and say yes to the Holy Spirit's nudge to start that business. I believe personal fulfillment comes from letting go of your way and saying yes to God's way so you can become all you were created to be. If you're ready to find personal fulfillment, grab a cup of coffee, tea, or hot cocoa, and your favorite snack. It's time to take your first step to start that business. You know the one I'm talking about? Yes, that one you've been putting off for a long time. I want to say that every question I receive during this Q&A series is a valid question. Even if it's a question you can Google and find the answer, still send it in. I would like to answer it from my own experience and my own perspective. There's a huge difference in getting a textbook answer to a business question and getting an answer from someone that is actually doing the thing. I've Googled some things before, and by the time you read the definition, you are more confused than before you Googled. So yes, every question is valid. So please send your question. Now, what is the difference between a service business and an online business? They're very similar. So sometimes it can be a bit confusing or maybe a little bit difficult to differentiate both. And I've had the opportunity to work both. I've been a service entrepreneur now for about 12 years. And I just started a second business, which is an online business. So I've been on both sides of the fence. Now, the main difference between a service business and an online business is the deliverable or the end result or the goods, in my own opinion. So a service-based business, you are offering services and you're getting paid for those services. In an online business, you can be offering a service or a product and you're also paid for that service. But the difference is, in an online business, the deliverable or the end result or the thing that the customer is paying for is digital. So let me use an example. Say an example of an online business is a coaching business. So you coach and you have an online course, and people pay you money for the online course. When they pay for the online course, they get an email saying getting access to that online course. So that's what I call the deliverable. The end result is they're getting a digital copy of the solution that they bought. Now, where it can be tricky is a service business can also be run online, and a service business can be run offline. So in the example I used as the coaching example I used, when you coach people, say a one-on-one coaching service, that is still a service business, but you're able to coach them online. Now, when you take your car to, say, the auto shop to go get your oil change, that is a service, but you can't do that online. You can't do an oil change online. So that's where you see the difference. So for a service business can be done online and it can be done offline. The deliverable can be online and the deliverable can be at a physical location. So that's the main difference. But a purely online business, everything is online. The deliverable is a digital experience. The business is run online. You don't have an office where people can come and meet you. Everything is online. Everything is completely done online. So that is the main difference between a service business and an online business. A service business can be an online business, but an online business might not always be a service business. Now, you might have an online e-commerce shop where you're selling physical goods that you ship to customers, and they buy online, they engage with you, and you ship it to them. So that is the main difference between the two. Now, on the service business side, sometimes, depending on the kind of service business, you might have supplies, physical supplies, like in the auto example I gave. When you go to the auto shop to do an oil change, they have supplies, they have tools that they use to help complete that service. So in an online business, you might not necessarily have that because you're delivering your solution online, either coaching or you're building a website for someone, and by the time they're done, they get the finished website. So you might still have supplies and tools, but it might not be like in the auto example I gave. It might just be your laptop you're using, or maybe some recording device or camera or things like that. So the beautiful thing about both a service business and an online business is it's easy to start because customers pay you before service. So whether you're doing a service business or an online business, you receive payment before you serve the customer. So that is very helpful because it reduces the amount of capital that you need to start that business. So let's recap now. What is the main difference between a service business and an online business? The main difference is in the deliverable, in the end result, in the goods. On the online business side, like I said, you're getting a digital experience. On the service business, you're getting either a digital experience or a physical experience, depending on the type of service you're getting. So if it's a bookkeeping service, your bookkeeper can send you a link to see your financial statements. If it's a hairstylist, you are going actually to the hair salon to get your hair done. If it's a nail shop, you're going to the nail shop to get your nails done. So I hope this has been able to clear the air and you can clearly see the difference. Now, you can also have a hybrid. I've seen service businesses like maybe a hair stylist that makes hair. She can add an online component to that physical service. So the online component might be creating a course that teaches other people how to make a particular hairstyle. So I've seen a hybrid where you have a service business that incorporates some online elements and a service business that is plainly a physical experience. All right. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on today's episode. That is all I have for today. I hope my answer was helpful to you. I hope you learned something new and you were encouraged. If you have a specific business question like the one I just answered, please go to startthatbusinesspodcast.com and send me your question. I will be happy to answer it on the show. Please share this episode with someone who is looking to start a service-based business or someone who just started a business so they can get the help they need. Keep listening for more exciting episodes. I will meet you here next week. Hey sis, before you go, if this podcast has encouraged you, helped you, inspired you, or taught you something new, please head over to Apple Podcasts and search for Start That Business Podcast and leave me a written review. That's one of the ways I know this podcast is impacting your life. Thank you so much. I'll also love to connect with you on Instagram. My handle is @ChichiUkomadu. Until next time, always remember you have all you need to start that business. I'll see you soon.